Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast, hosted right here out of the Rail in Fort Worth, Texas. And I'm stoked. I'm always excited about these, but I'm especially excited because I've been friends with these guys for quite a while. And actually, they were in the original podcast location. We already did one with their other project.
Yes.
But yeah, today we have Far and Justin from Backtalk.
Hello. Hi. Howdy.
How y'all doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Bubba?
Doing fantastic, man. It's a good day. I'm glad we're doing this now before the second ice age comes again.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I was like, I had to roll my sleeves down. I came in, rolled up, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe it's a roll down day.
Yeah.
It's a roll down sort of evening.
Kind of glad. I was like, why is there a 1 in front of the temperature in the forecast? Like, I don't like this at all.
I don't like it. Nope.
Yeah. But I'm glad we can make this happen. But yeah, I want to start there. Like, it's crazy to see that y'all did with Page's Turn, did one of the first podcasts when we were doing it out of the apartment, which we were still on the couches, just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was comfy. It was intimate.
It was, yeah. It was still when I was figuring it out. So I'm like, there's actually a reason why I stopped doing the couches, and it was really just because some of them were getting really relaxed, and it was like
I don't know if I'm moving the conversation along.
Yeah,
really.
it's you would just be chill, and it's because one of those couches. I think the couches where y'all were sitting at that brown one, sunk into it. So it was just that
emphasis on the chill part of this podcast.
I had somebody actually Jonathan Flores. He came on for Zeta Byte, and he fell asleep in part during it. I was like, these people are out of it. But yeah, no. I think it's cool to bring y'all back. But now with the first project that I ever knew Farhad with was Backtalk, which is it's crazy to see where it is today, your latest release versus your first release. Yeah. But so I kind of want to start there. So there's a new lineup. First of all, will you tell me a little bit about what the new lineup is?
Yeah, for sure. So I got my boy here, and as you know, we kind of all were doing different things. He was doing Humanican, which is another local band, and while he was doing that, I took him and we made Pages, and I took some time off because I was like, I don't know how I necessarily feel about Backtalk right now. Not that I didn't believe in it, but I was like, I need to take a step back, I think. And when I did that, I sat down with him and we just kind of worked out all the different parts of what worked and what didn't, and just started naturally writing music together, because that's what we do when we get together. But we were geared towards writing heavier stuff, which we'd never really done before, but it happened so naturally. We already had that foundation with Pages where we could sit down and write a song in 10 minutes, and now we were doing it but with distortion, and it was exciting. It just naturally gelled, but it also allowed me to just kind of dig deep and get to the root of what I really wanted this project to be and how I wanted it to sound, et cetera, and so it was really just him and I. After Jesus left in the old lineup, it was him and I, and then Taylor, who's recording all the songs for us. Yeah. And it just, we came together and we cranked out these songs. I wasn't on social media. I wasn't, hanging out with people.
Yeah, I remember that.
I just did a whole, Britney shave my head, let's go. And
you did. I was you did shave your head.
I did, and I just, I would just totally hermited, was focused on the music. I just zoned out, and we all were in a conjoined flow state for a period of 8 months. We were just working on songs.
And I'm just a hermit naturally, so
just worked out. Fit right in.
Yeah. And we just hung out. We spent our lives just kind of living at the studio for weeks at a time over the course of 8 to 9 months, and now we've just been kind of going in and periodically working on the record that we're doing.
The record?
The record.
Oh, that's the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yes.
Exclusive. Yeah, I mean that makes perfect sense. I remember like us talking with the Pages podcast about like your writing dynamic and how just natural it felt like that. And I think even then, like we were talking about like because we were talking about like what Backtalk's gonna do, and it's like why is it? Because at that point, I don't think officially you were like.
I think I was filling in on bass.
Yes, but it was like, why isn't he just like in it? And it was like, I don't know. Like,
there wasn't really a reason. It just I wasn't yet.
Yeah. Which again, like when that finally happened, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Well, and
like,
here I was, unbeknownst to him, like, he will be like, just wait.
He's like, I gotta make it seem like it's his idea. Over here incepting you while you're sleeping.
I'm the Backtalk sleeper.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's OC, your host for the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. And I know what you're saying. Another ad on this podcast. Yes, but this one, you can help support the podcast. You might be seeing these beautiful Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast hats here on the table where they're not just for decoration. We're selling these hoes, okay? This podcast, I don't get paid for this, so I need some money. Let's try to do that again. Less desperate. Yeah, these hats look very cool, and it would be very cool of you to buy one to put on your head and look even more cool than you already do, all right? If you want to tell people that you have impeccable taste, that you listen to all types of music, and you listen to the best podcast in the entire world or tri-state area, or maybe just this area here, this is the best podcast in this room, probably, then you should get one of these hats so that you can help support a local business and a local podcast, and so you can help support artists to come here and talk shit, okay? That's the whole point of this. But yes, go to NoiseROT.com to pick out your Chill Sounds and Breakdowns hat or other merch. We got stickers, we got pins, pick something up, and thank you for supporting the podcast. But no, I think that worked out. So that time frame, that's what year is that looking at when you're finally like in it and writing?
I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you are getting it.
I'm just my pocket going off. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
Since COVID, years mean nothing to me anymore. I have no clue when anything was relative to now.
No. Since
what's the first song you wrote? I mean, we released that you guys wrote together. Ooh. Maybe that'll time.
I think so. When it was like 21, end of like 21 is. Because that's when the old generation, 21 going into 22, and I think we were messing around with like different riffs for Anthill and Tempest.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I think we were doing Anthill, and which was the first single that we released, and that's when you started playing the Tempest riff. And so that's kind of where we've just been in that. So I was probably at the beginning of 22, I'd like to say.
Okay.
Just kind of steadily working on it, but like the summer of 22 going into 23 is when we like were spending the knocking it out, spending the weeks on weeks in the studio.
Working on it. Because you can. That's definitely where you can tell the transition, like the writing and like the style of the band. It feels definitely like very cohesive in like the direction that you're going to. Like I don't know, like all the songs just like flow very naturally itself. And then even like that single followed by, Tailwind, again, fall into the same thing. Although Tailwind, like still, it's so fucking good. I love the fuck out of that
song.
That
is my baby.
Yeah.
So that is his pet project.
Yeah, like, that shit like's got a lot of stuff. And because I remember just seeing like clips of like the video and stuff like that. And like you guys did a very good job like in teasing it, because it was like just enough to be like, this sounds new. Like it sounds like what is this? And then like I finally got to see it, which I did. I was like, oh, let me. Like I don't know how to fucking do reactions at all. I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy a fucking song. And I heard them like, and then like there was like, I mean, they're in there with like their legitimate moments where I'm like, oh, like and they were like, just not crazy thing. Like it sounds weird because I'm talking about it like a movie. I'm like, part of it was spoiled. Like, one of the reactions was like one of the screens, the classic blend.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Everything fucking. Oh. First of all, that shot is just fucking great. Anyways, the head tilt, everything on that shit is great. But the other part before the little break, just a little, and I'm like, fuck, that makes that. I don't know why. And to me, I'm like, that just makes it sound a lot more intense. Like it gets harder.
That little vocal edit. It's what a vocal edit. That's what that is.
Really?
So that's Taylor was just kind of messing around with different stuff, and I wanted him to chop up the instrumental and he chopped up the vocal instead, and it sounded so sick. And I was like, keep that.
Yeah,
that sounds sick.
Yeah, no, that shit was really good. But yeah, both of those songs are, I mean, in my opinion, were like the perfect things to put out to get like the momentum behind you, the right idea of like, okay, what is Backtalk do? Because again, because of that limbo period, like for me, someone who's seen like the band like from when it started to like where it's going, it was kind of that. I mean, that's where I was stuck in. Like as a fan, it's just like, okay, like I know what they used to do, and then I this period, like even like with Remedy and stuff like that, I'm still like I don't know really what's going on here. You know, it was and it kind of without like trying to like insult you or anything like that.
We didn't either.
But it was like it kind of felt like it kind of felt like that period. It was like, okay, what do we want to do? Like let's try stuff. Which again, like I respect as a musician and just like as someone working like art, like you gotta have like moments where you're just like, okay, let's try something, if not anything. Because you're the period you're talking about, the part about going in and really just like, what do I actually want this to be? Or the harder question was like, do I want this at all? Like still to be this, which is a big deal. But coming out of that and then writing these two songs, which again among others, because there's a record in the works, which seems like the time you took to figure out that direction, and like with both of you coming out of that, it feels like you found it and you're like, okay, now let's just hit this like as hard as we can.
That's pretty much exactly what happened.
Yeah, 100%.
We kind of had to ruminate on how we wanted the new songs to sound, because obviously I write as well, and before it's mostly been Farhad writing. Not mostly. There's
for a long time it was just you, right?
Yeah. For the most part, like there'd be hands here and there, producer hands helping. But for the most part, it was me writing a vast majority of the songs, and Jesus, to his credit, for sure, writing some stuff. But I was kind of doing everything for the most part, and so these songs and this record has been the most collaborative effort, and it required me to kind of take a back seat, and I wasn't used to that, and I thought I'd have more apprehension to it, but as soon as it started, I was like, do it, take it off, you got it. You got it, cook, please, and I since that started happening and gelling the way it did, I've been 1,000% on board, just excited to hear what we can all do together. So
did you just you coming into the project after, you already have a writing dynamic with Pages, but did you anticipate any sort of like apprehension from taking some of the writing off of like Far's hands?
I mean, yes, just knowing Farhad, but also I did my best to be respectful of like, this is Backtalk. This has always been, Farhad is Backtalk, right? But so I didn't, I'm not going to go in there and be like, fuck you, I want this. This is how it's going to. But we work so well together anyways when we're writing that we didn't really have any issues with each other. I
feel like you would already have gotten through that like barrier with Pages. So it's like, okay, like even if there's something I need to tell you or want to change or something, like I know how to actually talk to you.
100%.
It was more like, I just need to not write a bunch of pop punk songs, because that's like all I do.
That's your bread and butter.
That's my bread and butter.
And that was great though, because I needed a little bit of yes.
You saw that?
Yes, I did. Dun, dun, dun. Just time for the romantic moment there. But so it was it was just really, like you said, because we had that human dynamic already established between us as friends and between us as songwriters, but Pages, it was really easy. But his pop punk and kind of softer, more post-hardcore background kind of lent to softening and sort of rounding out some of the rougher, really gritty edges that I presented sometimes without, just like, here it is, is this craziness. And it's like, okay, I see you, and it's great, but let's crank it down right here, smooth it off right here. All right, now let's, and when I had that, I didn't really have that before. And so when I experienced that, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna keep giving you stuff and just keep destroying, fixing it, and like tear it apart, and you know, like it was awesome. Yeah. So and then with Taylor, like he's known us for years. We all have that chemistry together, and so it was really easy. There were times where, you know, energies would be in a studio together for a long periods of time, right?
I also lived with Taylor at the time, so my room was across from the studio.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And so
a lot of time together.
It could get to be a lot, but I think that's what brought out the best of us as musicians and me personally as a lyricist, as a vocalist, whatever, doing this stuff, writing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in your particular, like your guys' particular case is you're bandmates, but you are definitely, I feel like, friends first. So, and with, again, even like with Taylor, like producing, like same thing, like you all have been friends for 100%. Like a very long time. So arguments and stuff like that, like differences have been had like over many years, you know what I mean? To where the point is like, okay, like we know, like we always come back to you, or you like know how to respect each other, because like again, you've totally been to that. But I mean, even that, like, you know, you mentioned like Humanican earlier, but like I mean, Taylor was a Humanican. Now he's like y'all are producing like music together and recording. That's just another like comfort feeling. Where at the end of the day, like, because when you have an actual band, it's all collaborating together to write stuff. You need to make sure everybody like understands each other, but also everybody's very like respectful of each other's like opinions, and being like, at the end of the day, like someone is disagreeing with you, but it's to write a good song. Like that's, I mean, especially like, again, like you're not just, you know, adding writing or adding stuff like here and there. Like you are part of Backtalk. You're saying Far's been Backtalk for a long time, but now it's more people. So now it's part of me. So again, like everybody's like opinions will have to be like respected and how to write. And then you start realizing like,
wait, once collaborate
too. We are Backtalk. Having a Venom moment. But yeah, like and I think it's brought out like, I mean, in these two singles, like some of like the best work that Backtalk's like put out.
Thank you.
It definitely like feels that way. The music video for Telwyn is super dope. Who did you guys work with?
I wanted to talk about the music video.
Go ahead.
Well, I want you to talk about the music video.
Tackle whichever part.
Sure. So we filmed it at Cidercade in Arlington. I had a buddy who works there, and I was like, "Hey, yo, let me talk to your someone upstairs. Who do I need to, you know, to get what I need to get done here?" And he got me in touch. They talked to me and we set it up. We went at midnight one night.
I was gonna say, like, what
they kicked everyone out. We were chilling, and like apparently there was someone I knew who was there at the time, because they were like, I was there when you guys like were kicking everyone out. I was like, my bad. But also, sorry, not sorry.
It's called metalcore money.
Yes, baby. So, but they let us in, they explained everything, and then we just went at it, and we shot it ourselves. And we shot the first video ourselves as well, Anthill. And
really?
And we've just been doing that and then sending the footage off to get edited. And that's what we plan to do for the next video as well. Maybe. It's tossed right now, but we've got grand plans, but yes, that's what we've done so far.
I mean, it definitely worked out. Like that's why I was asking, like, who did you guys work with? Like I was like, who, so we can like plug them into, but it's just y'all.
Daniel Hambright is a editing master. He's a beacon of the scene, so you know, flowers to him.
I will shout out Daniel Hambright. That's who makes the intro, all the intro videos for the podcast and everything.
They look great. So.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, we got all the footage ourselves. We had our buddy of ours do like filming with us, a good friend of mine. Shout out Ronnie. And that's what that's what we're trying to keep doing, so that we can allocate that budget into, you know, renting out Cidercade or you know, marketing the song when we release it, so we don't have the video just kind of, hey, we got a cool video. You know, so that's kind of what we're trying to look at it from the perspective of, we can use that money towards whatever else and just have fun with it. Benji, who is the lead guitarist,
New lead guitarist, yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned Benji.
We haven't mentioned Benji. Yeah, Benji's awesome. He has a great camera, and because I was ready to do these songs on my phone, I was ready to film them. Like, I was still going to do them myself, but I was like, I'm going to do it however I need to do it. I got an iPhone, let's do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, pause.
It's like, I'm all for DIY.
I hear you, big dog, but also I have this really sick camera, and I was like, let's do that instead. So yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, and the battery wasn't charged.
Wait, what?
We have
we learned some lessons.
Oh my god, what are the lessons?
Yes. It's been an adventure.
All, it's awesome to be in an empty arcade in the middle of the night.
Just being there, like, feels like it's awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
We got to play all the games and stuff. Granted, we didn't spend too much time doing that because we were trying to get all the shots and all the different, you know, everyone's, footage.
Yeah.
And then, of course, battery, speaker.
We had
the issues they don't tell you when you're trying to direct a music video by yourself.
Charge battery? The what?
we couldn't use the sound system, or they didn't have one or something. We had to use like a Bluetooth speaker, basically.
Okay.
Yes.
And we didn't have a charger.
For the speaker?
For the speaker.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't charged.
And so we had to get a rescue speaker, the SOS.
My fiance drove out at like 2 a.m.
Oh shit!
Uh-huh.
Brought us homemade cookies and a Bluetooth speaker. Video probably wouldn't have happened if she didn't.
Yeah, honestly, save the day.
So
This
key.
is when you're like, I'm putting a ring on that.
That's
when the thought happened.
That probably was the moment that sealed
the next
deal.
day by that ring.
Yep.
Yeah, can't say anybody has ever done that for me before.
Woke up the next day at 3 p.m. because we were there until 5 a.m. and was like, let's go to the jeweler's. That's great.
But yeah, we had some hiccups, but
Yeah.
And we've had
Knocked it out.
small little hiccups each time we do it, but we learn each time, and now we know, okay, backup battery, make sure we have, sound, 3 speakers on deck, I don't care, all the different things that we would need. And without having those experiences, we wouldn't have learned to do all that. So I'm happy with where it's at now.
Yeah,
Granted, I'm not in the moment. I was freaking out.
It definitely sucks in the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment, it's just like, what the fuck? Especially booking a place like that and be like, we just booked this whole fucking place. And battery's not charged or something's not fucking working. You're like,
well, and you saw me how I was dressed in that video with the polo and the glasses.
I was questioning that.
Yeah,
I got him to dress up like Weezer.
Yeah.
That was kind of the plan. We were all going to dress all nerdy and goofy, and then
just you. So the plan was for everybody to do
Yeah, it was.
Imagine my surprise.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Everyone just decided not to do it, or everyone forgot?
I think everyone.
That was everyone's attempt at doing it. That's what I think that's what you saw. They were like, yeah, this is dorky, and I was like, okay.
Damn. I was wondering. I was like, it feels like there's a reason for this, but I couldn't figure it out.
There was an attempt at a reason for it, and we just kind of rolled with it. And I was like, you're the guy, you're the vocalist anyway, so you can just be in charge of us dorky kids.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it worked. The video was. It took me a while to realize that y'all were playing the fake instruments. I remember that. I'm like, wait, they're not playing like a guitar.
Yeah.
But you were especially there's the clip in the little teaser where you're just going at it. I was like, he's playing the shit out of that guitar. And it wasn't until I kind of I was watching the full video that I saw the neck bend and I'm like, wait, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was convincing. I was like, damn, they're really playing the shit out of this.
It was easier to go ham on inflatable guitars than on real guitar. I don't know, something about it just made us all want to jump around. So.
Yeah.
No, I mean the video came out so great. All the shots of it, you definitely like took advantage of the space in like the best way. Like everything was like showcase the lights of everything. Like on the bar, like that shit was fucking.
So the first time I did that, it was super dope. No one knew I was going to do that. I didn't know I was going to do that. No one, it was just unplanned. Like, it was in the moment. I was behind the counter, and I was like, I'm going to hop up. And I made it work, and, like, we got the footage, but, like, as I was coming up, shin checked my shit so hard on the counter, but I was in it. I was like, that feels good. I like that. As soon as they stopped filming, I was like, I feel that tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But there, like, I did it, and you could hear like just me like mouthing and doing like my little vocals, and then everywhere it was just quiet. Everyone's like, I got up on the catwalk.
Yeah. That's cool. That makes it even like a better. Which I mean, the intensity that was in it, but that makes sense. It was like an in a moment kind of thing. Like, let's just get this done.
Yep.
Yeah. I fucking that's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's actually in Tailwind, the chorus, is that you like singing?
That is me.
Okay. So this is again something not. I guess it's technically not necessarily new. Like, I mean, Backtalk started as a dual vocalist project,
right?
Yeah.
But
it's kind of come a full circle in a different way.
In a different way, right? Because like that used to be like scream vocals being exchanged, and now it's like the singing responsibilities are like being shared now.
Right.
But yeah, that chorus hit fucking hard. Like, it's very good. How did that, like, is that something like you worked up by yourselves? Do you guys do that together? Like, how does that writing dynamic work?
For vocals, I'm not primarily a vocalist, and I haven't really ever been. Working on it, but
yeah.
So I kind of
he sells himself short. He's so good. But well, and that's where I come in, right? He's like, I don't know if I'm good or not, and then he does some shit that's just cracked, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. Do that 300 more times, please. And he's like, okay.
pretty much. It's a collaborative effort, I'd say.
Are you getting more comfortable with it?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
It's taking some time, but
because you also do like solo stuff, right?
I do not have any solo stuff.
No,
I do not. Maybe soon. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
I've thought about it for a while.
I don't know where I heard something. Maybe I'm just, am I making stuff up?
I might have. I was kind of full gear on doing some solo stuff a while back. I think maybe around the time that I was on the podcast with Taylor.
Gotcha. Okay.
At y'all's last place. But I didn't ever end up doing it, obviously, because I started doing Backtalk.
All I'm going to say is this man is a chef. He can cook, and he has many recipes.
There's stuff in the bowl, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not.
That's
It's all right. It's all right.
I'll say.
I'm patient. I'm here.
Maybe not.
I'm here. I was here during that podcast. I'll be here for the next one. Over here till then.
Yes, sir.
Nice. So during this, I get a little bit more for Far here. During that period of, and feel free to not talk about this if you don't talk about it.
Sure.
But during the period of like you taking a step back from Backtalk and doing that, I have like seen your journey like into like sobriety. Like, is that something that went hand in hand with that, or one trigger the other, or anything like that?
I think it was just sort of a natural response as a result of, because I didn't choose to do sobriety as like a oh my god, I've like hit a rock bottom and I need to sort of get my life together or anything like that. But I recognize the different facets of it that led to me not drinking anymore. And like I still enjoy my herbal medicines, and so I can't say I am totally sober, California
Was
sober,
that
I
Cali
guess.
sober?
Yeah.
Sober, yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just realized like there's a certain sort of stigma associated with getting away from alcohol in our society because it's so prevalent. And I had to sort of just face that more than I did the actual sobriety, And once I crossed that, I don't miss it. Yeah. It was one of those things where I just feel so much better knowing I don't. Not for any sort of like, oh, I don't drink and you do. Like, it was more just one of those like, I feel physically so much better, mentally so much better. I remember where I was when I was drinking. Blackout Hod was not, like he would go out, and then I just there was a liveliness to it, but I didn't feel true and authentic to myself, and I felt like I was getting away from the music. And so once I stopped that, there was just a natural, gravitation towards me doing music more authentically, kind of really getting to the root and stuff of what I want to do, where I'm at lyrically, blah 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 blah. So
yeah, no, I definitely I relate to that, like in a way of like initially, because like when I was younger, I mean, we're talking about now it's like almost 10 years ago.
Sure.
Where I definitely like had like the biggest like problem, and it was fine because like around you like it's fine or whatever, but realizing that it was always like a way to escape myself.
Yeah.
And that's when I really like realized, okay, that's the issue here. Like I'm just not cool with being me like out in public. And like I'm not sober, like, but I stopped drinking a lot. Like, so like I like just how happy like I am when I'm like, oh, I can go out and just be like not have to like drink anything. And I'm like, that's cool as fuck. And before it was always like, oh, if I'm going out, like we got to be drinking, right? Like, or whatever. I think I was like, when I met my fiance, which we started dating, like I happened to be doing like, I think me and a friend did like a challenge, and we're like, oh, we're going to be sober for the next like 90 days. And I'm like, at the time I was still like not drinking that much, but it was more for him. And then he like quit like a week into it, but I was like, I'm already doing this. And then I met, my girlfriend at the time, but now it'd be like my fiance. And I wasn't drinking. I was like, I wonder if she's gonna think that like I have a problem, which is why like I'm doing it. The stigma that you're talking about, like, when someone stops, like there's a reason for it or whatever.
Right.
And I'm just like, no, like I made a bet with a friend, like, and he stopped, but I kind of just want to keep it going. Like it seems fine. And I think that just like realizing like it's super like easy for me, which is not the first time I've tried it. When I was really struggling with it, it was a badge of honor that I was like, oh, like it's been a month, like it's been 2 months, and I'm like, if I can make it, and it was always like bartering, like if I can make it to this. And it's funny because I think I heard it recently in like it's like an older like Tom Holland interview that comes out where he's like talking about it. He's like, yeah, if I can just make it to this month, like I'll be fine. And that's kind of how it was when I tried it the first time. And I think I made it like 11 months, and I was like, well, I made it 11 months, like I'm cool. And this is the first time I'm like, I pretty much lost count of whatever day it was, because I'm like, oh, it really is not that big of a deal. But the mental clarity part, the part about just like, oh, I can just be who I am, and that's cool. Like I can heave that, and that's still like something I struggle with. But it's still like it definitely takes that hindrance of, okay, I don't need this to try to like transform into somebody else.
Right.
For
I think
a time.
that's the biggest thing we see in especially shows. Right. You see people use it as that social lubricant. And it was a fun challenge for me to get over that little hurdle. I mean, I'm a naturally social person, but I am technically like an introvert. I like being an indoor cat. I like staying inside and doing my thing. I have just adapted the ways of the extrovert, right? And so but I wouldn't at all try to I don't know. It seems silly because I like to be, reserved and stuff. But whenever you're out, especially at shows, you have to be mingling with people, and you're in a band, and so you have added pressure to get people to listen to your band or know who you are, do what you're doing, and especially when everyone else is drinking, it's harder to kind of break that ceiling a little bit. But it was a challenge for me. It was like, okay, how can I navigate this, social environment as the person that I am without this, liquid that our society has, kind of evolved around. So, I did it. And I was 6 years, I was almost 7 years going off. So I just don't think about it anymore. I just don't think about it anymore. It's one of those, and I looked at it like a counter that I had made like years ago, and it goes by days, and it was like 2,200 days or something like that. So I was like, that's cool. Yeah, that's dope. I'm good with that.
Just every now and again. That's the number. But it's the point where like, oh, okay, it doesn't hold that like initial like counter where it's like, oh, like how many, like it's just been this day.
Right.
But that's really cool. I just saw that with you, and I'm like, I always wanted to ask like, oh, like, what, because again, coming from somebody who like, I've like had my struggle with it, and be like, oh, I wonder like how was, because I love to hear that it wasn't like the rock bottom moment that normally that's what it takes.
Sure.
And
that's not to say I was an angel.
Yeah. No.
That's
but
not to say I was hey, I'm just gonna,
I think you just put stuff into perspective. Like
right.
for me, like that, going from a moment where like, I don't remember last night to being like, oh, what, like being absolutely terrified that I don't remember the night before. And I'm just like, I don't like that. Like,
yes.
Whatever. But,
100%.
That's super cool that you found that out in yourself and now found, a way to be your true self, what feels like natural. Yeah. But fuck, man, we're going back to Backtalk. I want to hear about this album.
Yes.
So has it been in the works since the 2 singles were like being worked on?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're going to be on
part of it cohesive because I saw the artwork. I was like, okay, it's all similar here. What are we working to?
We're working towards a theme. I don't want to announce too much about it yet. But
tell me what you can.
We
spill the beans.
We're looking at like actual full length, like 13 songs, with the like interludes and all that stuff. So like we're trying to do it like our metalcore forefathers did before us,
Yeah. The full length idea, I think, is always like the dream, the goal, like for bands, like I want to put out like this cohesive project because in a world where like singles and like 2-packs of songs, they're like EPs. EPs are still great. Like there's still like a way to thematically like do that. But like it was always, and I don't know if it's just coming up from growing up in like the world of albums, of remembering just like all these like great group of songs at a time that you would get like from bands, and just being like, oh, that's what I want to do. Like I want to do this.
So it's an experience.
Yeah. I mean, you've done the other stuff. You've already put out EP, you put out single stuff like that. So dedicating to writing an album, it is a big like feat, but I feel like it must feel like exciting as fuck, like to actually get that going.
Yeah, I've never actually been in a band that's written a full-length album. So,
really?
Yeah.
This is my first full-length album too. So I'm super excited about it. I think the challenge, and I think this has been where we've been really gelling, and how I knew going forward it would continue to be a positive experience, was finding the balance between our, like you said, single-driven, centric sort of world and attention of the listener base, right? Versus having that need or urge or want to put out a record, and having songs that sound like they go together and fit on a record together,
cohesive,
right? And so that was a challenge too, of just like, how do we find the good median of like, okay, we're still gonna drop singles, we're still gonna get people interested in what we're doing, the way people are doing, but it's leading towards this bigger thing. And if we have to drop 2-3 more singles, okay, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
But also, that's why we've been trying to do like a video for every song that we've been putting out so far, and just like playing shows in the interim between, so that we can build the momentum and the hype for the record that's coming. Yeah.
I think especially for a full length, a release strategy is a fucking must. Yes, I think days are gone of the days of you just like, okay, I can just put out a record and expect people like to stay on this one thing because I just dropped it. Like it's a big deal, and it is like it's a big deal to y'all, but like to everybody else, like who's getting bombarded with so much like information at a time. Like, okay, we got to make this shit last.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because again, you at least is the length of time it took you to work on it. You know what I mean? Which is an endeavor. You know what we're talking about earlier about like, okay, shooting stuff yourself so you're able to save money to put it somewhere. Yeah, it's not only money, it's effort, it's time, spending all that time in the studio working on these things, like, and then putting it out and being like, oh, that's it's over with. And I like it's more accessible these days to like do your recordings and stuff like that, and being able to shoot, like, I mean, you're talking about like shooting it on like your iPhone, but that in a pinch you can definitely do that. Right. Like, there's people making amazing things.
Amazing things.
With whatever you have, and it's that kind of attitude. But having some sort of plan to be like, okay, this is going to be released, but we also got to put this stuff out for it. Like, how do we make, this song last, a few months until our next song comes out? Or how do we keep people coming out to the shows? Like, people are there. You're talking about the networking. That's such like a big deal of like talking to people at shows.
Yeah.
And I think it's the easiest way to like get people to on board on your side. Because seeing, like, I talk about this quite a bit, but a band's winning me over live, first of all. But if they're like around and I'm just like had a moment and they're like, give me a little like, oh yeah, like, this was cool. Or I'm saying like, oh, this one part was really cool. And you give me a 15-second explanation about it. Then I'm like, okay, there's a connection here now to like a human, a person.
The humanization of that experience.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Which is ties into like that. One of the reasons why I wanted to keep this going was that I'm like, oh, we see bands like put out stuff, and I feel like, especially from the outside, like if you're not in a band, in the scene, and anything, understanding, you don't normally know the effort that goes into putting out music.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like, oh, we wrote a song and recorded. Like, he's like that. There's so many steps that you're missing there. I go, these people are people. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
and there,
I was crying in the booth, though.
You might have been, because I mean, we'll step into that. But like, let's go to. So Ant Hill was first one. I don't know. Maybe I didn't figure out. It's
I didn't. Yeah. It was an acronym that I didn't. I wanted to let people kind of figure out what maybe what it might be about or interpret it on their own, but it's automatic negative thoughts. With the rest of the thing. And I just play on words, anthill, but yeah, I was just kind of getting to the root of intrusive thoughts and things that, like, we don't normally actually like think that about ourselves, right? But there's certain things where we have thousands upon thousands of thoughts every day, and we're kind of just like monkeys exposed to a bunch of technology, the stuff that's going on in the world, and sometimes monkey go burr, and so I think that's sort of a reflection of that, of the mind trying to process this the mind trying to hyper process this crazy reality that we live in, and just like the different elements of being exposed to that and having like a breakdown, I guess, so to speak, of the different things that make you feel like that. Yeah.
Definitely in like listening to it and in reading it, especially them next to each other, those two songs. If I just look at it, I mean, they are singles. I don't know, like, in the album, like, what order they're going in and stuff like that. But talking about, like, that, like, it was definitely, like, those, like, incredibly negative thoughts in, like, Anthill. And then I feel like Tailwind is that conversation you have with yourself, which is in the lyrics, too. But, like, when you've already had the talk of, like, getting out of this, but you keep kind of reverting back to, like, some of it's still deep and bad, but it's kind of like, we've already had this talk, like, why is this, like, still happening kind of thing?
Yeah.
Will there be like a lyrical theme throughout the well, actually, you just said you didn't want to reveal a lot of stuff. So
no, that's okay.
But let's say in those two songs, like, do those kind of go together?
Yes and no. So you're gonna see certain themes on the album that are like in chunks, I guess, thematically, that kind of work together, sort of like acts.
Okay.
And each act has its own sort of feel and flow and like lyrical content, or like similar topics, and then so on and so forth. And it's all going to be kind of a compilation, and it's going to reflect on the album title and all that stuff. So it's going to have a hand in why they're together and why it's set up like that. So, but yes and no.
Okay. No.
They weren't written in mind to be like
together.
that, to go together, but they just happen to have certain like elements that like canonically sort of follow a character or a person, me, right? Yeah. But by removing like the specificity of it being me, right, and just kind of making it general, there will be certain songs that apply to like a certain set of things or topics, and then other songs that are like completely different. So yeah, there's but there will be a reason for why there will be certain different themes on the record. Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay.
That's the longest non-answer I've ever.
Yeah. No, there's and then just I mean my I guess another just random question off of Anthill was there's a line, and I don't know like why it caught my attention, but I was just on one of my listen throughs. There's a line where you call yourself the destroyer, and then right after it you say you're powerless, and like immediately I don't know, to me it clicked. I'm like, oh, like you feel powerless, but you also feel to have the power to destroy, like
right.
So I was wondering just like what really like was that? Is it like what are you powerless in, like in that situation?
Yeah. So the chorus is kind of a reflection of I'm a fraud, I'm a fake, I'm a failure, I'm a destroyer, right? Just these kind of things of whenever I see certain people and they're doing certain things at a certain level, it's just like, oh, maybe I'm not, blah, blah, blah. Just intrusive thoughts, right? But then, I feel like I'm kind of destroying my chances at getting those things or destroying my opportunities or even my state of mind to be okay with whatever it is that's going on. But I'm powerless to my own self-sabotage. I'm powerless to my own destruction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how you took that, though.
Yeah, that's all I was like, oh, I'm wondering about that.
Yeah. So that's what it is. It's like I'm destructive to myself and I'm powerless against the self-sabotage that I cause.
Man, music is sick. Everybody can interpret it a different way. You know what I mean? I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Even like, again, like in this case, it's like, oh, I'm technically wrong, but I also cannot.
Yeah.
Lyrics mean whatever you think.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like I used to do that all the time with just there's like, oh, this is what it means. And just go my rest of my life thinking like, yeah, that's exactly what that means. Just like never know the truth. It's fine.
No. So it was very much of, and that was, I was very appreciative of that song because that was the, kind of one of the first ones that we started really gelling out and getting to where it is, putting it on its legs. And Taylor was like, just dig deep, get to the marrow of whatever it is that's going on, and say it. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And I just sat down. I played the song on loop for about an hour, and I just after I did that for a while, stopped it, and I was like, all right.
Let's go. Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Man, I want to poke and prod at this album, but I won't.
No, you can. When I said I didn't want to say too much, it was more just because I don't want to, I don't want to say the name of it. That's really all it is. And I don't want to, but.
Okay, so my next question, what is the name of the album?
Aside from the name.
What's the name?
I can tell you the next single is coming out hopefully in the next month and a half.
Okay.
And it's called Tempest.
I heard that name drop a little while ago.
Yes.
Okay.
So that'll be our next single. And the colors will make sense once you know. For the record. That's all I want to say. I don't want to give too much away.
It's gonna be green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be green. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bleep that out. It's gonna be no, that's the fun part. Like especially like I don't want to get ahead of us, but is it pretty much written?
Yeah.
Completely. Okay.
Well, so the record in its entirety is. There's maybe one song that we haven't demoed out, but otherwise, for the most part, we've at least started every song on the record. Okay. And there are some songs that are done. There are some songs that are like almost done. So it's like 80% of the way there. I want to say 75,
gotcha.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, the extra stuff around an album is always really fun, like to mess with. So like artwork, videos, things like that, or how you're gonna. Promote it, or even like release shows and things like that.
Yeah.
Which, I think just to bring it back, which is weird. We're at the rail right now, but like when the Under Oblivion did their release, I fucking like I don't know, like we've been playing for like a while.
Yeah.
But being able to put like all the like bands of just my friends are like, I'm like, oh, that's my favorite show like ever. It was so fun. But
that was a fun show.
That's a cool thing about like being able to do your release shows. Like, okay, who do you get to put on it and things like that. But you guys have played like a bunch of like cool shows recently and got some gnarly opportunities. Like, how's that like felt like getting back into playing shows to like a crowd where you're playing, you know, some of this newer stuff that you're working out together with, again, with a new lineup?
Yeah, sure. If you want to take it, you can. But for me personally, it's been great because I believe in these songs a bit more. Like, they feel like more cohesive. They feel right. And that's not to say I, dislike any of my old music or what have you, but you grow and you learn as a musician. And I took that step back. And so part of that was, how do I want to come back? How do I want this project to re-enter the scene or what have you? And we got an opportunity for Emo Night that summer, and that was after we put out Anthill earlier in the year, and we were just coasting on that. And that was a big thing, is trying to kind of squeeze the songs for what they are, and so that we're not signed. We don't have anyone that we really have to answer to. Yeah. And so we can kind of, without being super lax about it, push dates or move things around to fit our comfort so that we can, I was like, oh, okay, we don't want to release the video now. We can do it in like 2 weeks because, like even releasing the video separate from the song, which, see, people are like, whoa, why are you doing that? And I'm just like, trust me,
that makes sense to me.
You see a lot of people either they just drop everything together, the song, the video, it's all, go. But we were like, you got the song? Oh, you missed it? Video, you know? So
now you have a visual.
Exactly. And especially nowadays, people are like, oh, I didn't see that you dropped. And I was like, now you can see that we dropped.
No, you gotta take every like thing out of every song. Like, there's stuff you can squeeze out of it, and again, like and plan it out to where this song can be played over, and there's more things. There's plenty of things that you can do out of it. It's just whatever. I always tell people, and like, which is weird that people like ask me sometimes like about social media, and I'm like, I guess I do like a lot now,
right?
But I'm like, yeah, just do stuff that you think that you like. Like, if anything else, I go, if you don't want to just like hop on like whatever's trendy, like whatever, I go, out of one song, you could do like playthroughs, you can explain your lyrics, you could have a thing where you explain the song, or all these like little things that work off of that one song. But yeah, I think the like dropping a song and then the video like separate just again reiterates it again, like, okay, now there's a visual to it, and it gives you time to be familiar, so that when you're watching the video, a lot of times what happens if I'm watching a music video and it's me listening to the song for the first time, like, I don't know what to pay attention to that first time, right. which is what happened like sometimes with reactions and stuff like that. That again, I did it for a little bit, then I was like, it's a little much, but it's hard to concentrate on like two things really like deep diving. Again, it's gonna take those added watches. But if I know the song and then I go and watch the video, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I can just jam the song, but I can pay attention to what's going on.
Right,
here.
You're locked in sonically.
Yeah. And then you can experience again just the visual like aspect to it with it. But yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, maybe if you can afford to just drop whatever you want, then true. But as a band doing it all yourself, that don't sound like a luxury you can take.
Right. And so we were trying to figure out, with that in mind, how can we make that work for us? We all got jobs. We're trying to, just do the thing, right? Yeah. And so we released the song, and, we got good response from it. People really enjoyed it, and we learned from the video and stuff. And we're like, okay, we're going to keep working on this record. And in that meantime, I still didn't have a full band. I had like 4 out of the 5 pieces, and then found a drummer, and I was like, all right, let's start practicing. And then, while we're working on this record, and people are enjoying Anthill, I'm like getting this band set up to come back. Yeah. And then we got the offer for Emo Night in June, and we were like, that's it. That's a good, like, it's right in the middle of summer, June. It'll be a good like opportunity emo night is,
Yeah.
everyone
Lot of-
knows
lot of
that
people,
thing.
lot of traffic.
and we were like, yeah, this will be a good little kind of re-debut, I guess, and it went well. I think people enjoyed it. Our set went well, and we had a lot of fun. So, and then we've just been trying to have those fun shows.
Was that the first time back on stage as Backtalk, right? And how long?
I think the last show was January of 22.
Wow.
So two and a half years.
2.5 years.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And it was also here. Or was it not? No, I
That
had
was
COVID.
you had COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept getting COVID.
I kept getting. What do you? Hold on. I kept getting COVID.
Yeah, like every time we had to play a show, I would get COVID.
How many times have you gotten COVID?
6.
Oh,
6
no.
times, I think.
I have yet to
Since
get
2020.
COVID.
I don't have it right
Let me
now.
move these a little apart. You,
I have a shitty immune
He's a
system.
sickly boy. That's
you need some more oranges.
running
You need some-
running joke in our group is
Damn,
poor
6
immune
times.
system.
That was. I still remember. Like I only got it I think once, and I remember. Oh, so it's when DJ and I used to live together in the
Right,
apartment. He got it and was like dying. Like he's like, I'm feeling. And then I remember when we went to go get tested. I was like, I might as well go with. Like, it's not like I don't have it if you have it. And then we got him tested. He got it. Or we both got our results saying we have it. And then all the symptoms got there first, and then I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die. Like, I was like, I'm way more unhealthy than he is. Like, I was like, this is it. And I remember like sitting like in the living room on the couches, being like, waiting for it. I'm like, here it comes. It's just like, because my head, like the only thing I got was like a headache, and like it just wouldn't stop. Like I wake up, head throbbing all day, and I was like, okay, and so I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for this to hit me like it's hitting him. And then, like 3 days later, like it just went away, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like it just, whatever. But he was dying, but I remember just sitting there and being like, I'm gonna die. Like, damn, that
doesn't sound fun.
That doesn't sound fun.
Two
Yeah,
of
that's
the
cool,
times
man.
I had the flu at the same time.
Yeah, he had the flu at the same time, so
Yeah.
he just.
Yeah, it was bad.
Man, you're lucky to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
This is your make a wish. I want to do the podcast one more time.
It's everything a little boy could ask for.
This is
Trust
sick.
makes it to the next show.
If you'd like to support Justin building up his immune system,
the
send some
arms
oranges
of the
and some emergency to. Please call the number on the screen.
Oh, that's amazing.
No, that's playing live is just the fucking best cherry on top of like writing music. It's like nothing other. And again, playing right crowds. Like I mean, it's funny because we just have like so much history of like playing together. But like my favorite show we ever played was when I ended up doing vocals like for Backtalk at that
Moon Tower.
Moon Tower. Not even a venue. Like it's a bar, like a shotgun style bar.
Oh boy.
I remember we had enough space to like stand and like a little like nothing area and it was packed as fuck. Like I remember it was so fucking full.
Crazy.
I wasn't there. Was that around here? Is that?
It was in Fort
actually,
Worth.
it's down the road here somewhere.
around.
Oh my God.
It's literally like
If it's still there, I don't know.
it's still there, I don't know. But it's literally like, oh man, like it's very fucking tiny. Maybe like from the bathroom, like wall over there, like that section straight ahead, maybe.
Maybe,
Like,
yeah.
maybe,
Yeah, from the bathroom to the wall there.
But yeah, so the band had enough space to set up. I think I was like far as right here, and that's how much space we have like to move around and stuff. And it's fucking like there's people like right here, like when you're playing.
Yeah.
And I remember they had asked me I think it was just
Juan.
had he just left?
Yeah.
He just left.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let's do it. And then I had a Under Oblivion set next, which it's funny. Like I did not anticipate my stamina. So the Backtalk set, I fucking killed it. My set, I'm like, it's all right, we did all right. But no, that show was fucking crazy. And it was just like, but again, like it's just that live energy of just like people having a great time. Like those are the crowds that I've enjoyed watching and playing in front of, like, and just being part of like the crowds that are going to like just have fun. You know what I mean? And have a good time. It's like those are the ones you want. Like no matter how big those are, like if people are there for a show and they're like wanting to have a good time, like you're gonna play such a great time.
Right.
So you guys are starting to play a little bit more. Is that something like you're planning in 2025 to focus on, or really just focus on finishing the album before we get to any kind of prioritizing shows?
So we have a show in March with our boys in Atlantic Blue, Threnody, March 29th, Texas Tea Room.
Oh, Threnady's headlining, right?
Yeah. And so that's the only show we have on the books right now. Mm-hmm. We're trying to be really sparse with it so that, yes, we can focus on the record.
Yeah.
But we also just want to like do other little things, you know, like drop a merch line and just like do other little things that surround a band. Just make content and like do maybe like songs that aren't related to the record, like a cover, stuff like that. So we want to have fun and do other stuff still while keeping the record in mind, and like doing the music video, because we're trying to keep that sort of momentum and theme going of like, okay, the singles we're going to drop, we want to do a video for them, even if we drop it later or what have you. But yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing. Whether we play shows or not, we're trying to just be picky about it. And we're playing some of the songs live that we haven't released yet, and so that's been interesting because then we release it and people are like, I kind of heard like a snippet of that when I saw you guys, but now I'm locked in, and I'm glad I got to see that. Like you gave us like a sneak peek, you know, blah blah. And so I'm trying to approach just doing it a little differently with the boys. We're really just sort of like, okay, how well is the song doing? How well are people receiving? Do we have everything lined up for the next song? Et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're really trying to still figure things out, you know, and also just really dial in the record and dial in the next like singles and stuff, so that when we play shows, whenever we do, we have more engagement. We have people, we have merch to sell them, all that stuff. Yeah. So
you gotta have merch. Pretty much the primary way to make money.
Yes,
put it back into.
We're excited. We're gonna have a fun few things dropping. So I'm excited for that.
Let me know.
Yes, sir.
Put some orders in.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for stopping by. Honestly, like I'm super stoked to be able to still hear the name Backtalk around, and especially with like this new music that's coming out, and seeing the new life that's being breathed into this band, into the scene and stuff like that. But congratulations on what everything you guys are creating and making. It's super fun sounding. It sounds like you guys are really coming together and like collaborating and making some really cool stuff. And again, a whole full-length album is definitely not an endeavor to take for granted, but you guys are taking it on together with you got a great team of guys like around you. Anything else you guys want to say before?
Anything you want to say before we head out?
Thanks for having us.
Yes, you've been on here 3 times.
Thank
Trying
you.
to break a record.
Yeah,
I think you're probably tied.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's funny.
Who is your Chill Sounds nemesis? You have to compete with the crown.
I think Jonathan Flores has been on 3 times, and then I guess the NoiseROT people but that's like the default one. That one don't count. I think those are the only other 2 like 3.
Nice.
But,
you can have a Chill Sounds duel. No biggie.
Let me know next time. We'll
have y'all both on it.
Thank you so much for having us, though.
No,
dude.
absolutely.
We really appreciate
it. For coming by, I appreciate it. And whatever you guys need help with, just let us know.
Yeah, of course. Far from Backtalk.
Justin from Backtalk.
Yeah. And this has been episode 132 with Backtalk. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next time.
See you.
I don't wanna be alone tonight. Raving touch on the